Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So today I'm going to be playing in my small creative flip journal from from Dylusions, and I've got just one of the pages open, and I've been inspired by a wallpaper sample that I saw online when I was looking at new decor and stuff. This is the wallpaper sample that you can see on screen right now. It's a kind of like retro dandelion clock pattern, and I thought that I would try and see if I can recreate that just on a small scale for an art journal page today. So what I've done is, for my background, rather than just using the plain paper, I've torn a sheet out of this DCWV pad that was sent to me in Happy Mail from Bet Jacob, and I've just gone to the back and I've gone to one of these kind of pale pages like so and taken that one out. So what I'm going to do is I want the kind of rough torn edges. So what I've done is I've just begun tearing around the edge, and then I'm just going to try and do it so I can create a background piece that's almost the same size as the page, but maybe just a little bit smaller, so you can see that torn edge all the way around. And I'm hoping that's going to fit quite nicely into that page there, but it's upside down, and that's not going to be any good, is it? So I'm going to start off with that in the background. So I need to grab some glue. Excuse me, I'm a bit croaky today. I have more viewings on the house today, so I haven't got that much time to do any art or crafting today. So, and I've had lots of day job stuff to do, which has been really difficult because I've only got the one old computer to use because the insurance company still haven't paid out. And we found out today that the girl that was dealing with our claim has now left the company and hasn't passed on all the paperwork to anybody. So we're trying to now find out exactly what's happening with the claim still. But I digress. Anyway, so Spirit glue gives me just a little bit more time to play with it, to position it in the right place before it grabs and holds, which is just perfect, because now I can start adding on some colour onto the background of this page. Now I've got a water pen, labelled up water because I also have one that's got alcohol in it, and then I've got my old paper. I'm just going to try and see if I can grab a piece of polypropylene, just a little bit, because I want to try and, I don't think I've got any clean. I really need to wash some of these mats. There we go. So I'm going to use this as a little bit of a palette. Excuse the brightness of the white. So add some of that old paper on there. Good, there is some water in there, and I'm just going to mix that up. And I'm just going to lightly just whiz that across the page. I don't want to go too dark. I just want to add a little bit of tonality into the background. You can see it's just darkening it up a little bit, and I don't mind if it just goes off the page a little. There we go. Just kind of picks it up, deposits it, and starts making that background kind of all one piece. And because I haven't added any gesso to this page, then it's just sinking straight in. Pick up some of that wet from there, and we can just darken it up a little bit. And I'm trying to do it just lightly so as not to cause the paper to pill too much. I'm going to get a little bit, but I don't want too much. Just darken it in a few areas, just to kind of get a little bit of an old grungy kind of effect in that background. And I love playing with these Tim Holtz inks and trying to get them to do unexpected things that you wouldn't necessarily think to do with them, and just kind of darkening up the background like that a little bit more. I could put some water on here and just turn it over and try and pick up the page, but that's a little bit too uncontrolled for me. So I just want to try and add That's it, some of these colours. So we get a little bit of subtle discoloration in the page. Just grunge it up a little bit. Don't want to go too far. That'll do, I think. So I'll put that old paper to one side. And that mat. And I'm just going to give this a quick blast with my heat gun to make sure that it's all dry before going on to the next step. Okay, so page is now dry. I'm going to just pop it to one side and I'm just going to bring something in to show you now. I've got some little foam pads. Now this is the Ranger cut and dry foam. It's also, you can also get some from Indigo Blue, they call it fat foam. It's just got a kind of foam back and then a foam topping for use with inks. What I've done is I've created, or I've cut out, a kind of leaf shape. And this one I've kind of tried to kind of keep it a little bit smaller. As you can see, so I've got two different sizes and a slightly different shape, deeper on one side and then just curved on the end. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to bring in some of my kind of yellow colours. So I want, let's try mustard seed. And I'm going to load up the sponge, just rub it on there, and then I'm going to tamp it down, squeeze, push it right the way down. I've got a really nice kind of subtle shape on there. Pick up some more of that colour. Obviously this is going to depend on how juicy your pad is as to how big you're going to get. So let's just put another one over here. So I'm squeezing down. There we go. So I'm getting a really kind of uneven oval shape, which is great because obviously where you push it's gone a little bit darker and it's kind of nice and subtle. So what I want to try and do now is just bring in another colour. I want a kind of a nice sort of greeny colour. So I think I'm going to use bundled sage. And I'm going to try and load up that bundled sage onto there. Load up the foam and then turn it over. And then put one right in the middle there, stamp down, rock it a little bit, make sure I've got some good contact, and then take that off again. And I'm getting some nice kind of variation in the colour. It's not brilliantly dark, which is fantastic. So I'm also going to do another small yellow one up here. And then I'm going to mix now. I'm going to see if I can pick up some of that bundled sage, darken that up, and then do another small one just here. There we go. Look at that. Love it. Okay, so let's just put those lids back on again. I'll just pop those to one side, and then I want that to be dry. So I'm just going to give it a quick blast with the heat gun. Okay, so that page is nice and dry now. I've got a little bit of curling, but I'm not too bothered about that. And I've brought out my Pigma Micron number 8 archival ink pen. Now this is small enough to give you some detail, but big enough for it not to disappear and not to bend when you're trying to draw on the shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a little circle there, and then I'm going to join those up, and then I'm going to draw a stem coming down. I'm going to do the same thing on all of them, but I'm not going to be exact. I want this to kind of be sketchy. And I can go behind there, quite big enough, I think. And I will be filling these in as well. I'm inspired by that kind of retro look and feel from that wallpaper. Like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line of dots all the way, and then I'm going to create my dandelion clock effect. By joining them all up at the bottom. And I'm going to just do the same thing, and you can vary the heights of your dots as you want to, and add as many in or as little as you want to. What I'm doing is I'm curving them in to where that stem meets. So there's like a central distribution point, no matter if you go a little bit wonky. Nobody's perfect when all's said and done. Cool, love it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw kind of stitchy kind of background, just following the line of those torn sheets or the torn edges, just to bring that black more kind of together. Kind of creates a nice little frame around the outside of the page using that natural torn edge. And of course this is an art journal style that you can do anytime. It doesn't really take that long. It's fairly easy. It's a real, I won't say low skill level one, but it's one that you can do if you're just starting out and want to try something. Of course, varying the colours of these kind of stylised dandelion heads, you could change this. You could do them in reds and oranges and maybe turn them into, you know, stylised poppies, that kind of thing. Literally, you can do what you want with this and just turn it into whatever you will. So I just want to add one more little thing onto this. I'm getting the urge to add some splatters, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to grab some paint. I've got some black. I don't really need a lot. Put a real small, as if there's any of this black left in this pot. I suppose I could use gesso, and that's empty. Let's grab some gesso, some black gesso here. Okay, I'm just going to take it from the lid, and I'm using my water brush. I'm just going to mix some of that paint up, and then I'm just going to take, just gently add some splats. Of course, you could do this with ink if you want to, India ink if you're feeling that way inclined. And that's it. It's a really kind of restrained art journal style, and like I said, one that doesn't take very much to be able to master, but I think it's really nice and cute. Definitely retro style. Let me just get that gesso dry and I'll be right back. Okay, so that page, as you can see, is now dry. I think those little black splatters in the background kind of really do help to bring it all together, but I wanted just to add a little quote onto this art journal page just to finish it off. So I've gone to my Tim Holtz small talk stickers and I've just had a quick look through just to see if there's anything in there that kind of goes with this art journal page, and I found this one, and it says live in the moment, which I think is quite kind of apt for this, because that's what like dandelion heads are, aren't they? They're one of those things that are there 1 minute and then one slight gust of wind and poof, they're off. They've all disappeared off into the ether. So I just wanted to bring that in, add that into the mix, and I just want to add a little bit of a pop around that, a little bit of a drop shadow. So I'm just going to bring in my Stabilo All pencil. I'm just going to add a little bit along the bottom, a little bit on the side. I've got my water brush again. I'm just going to activate that. Just create a little bit. And because I haven't gessoed, it's just going to sink straight in. I'm going to add more water to it, just a little bit more, just bring it out. Just before it starts to pill, we'll stop. There we go. That'll do, I think. So just a real kind of quick but easy to do art journal page. Now, of course, you don't just have to use foam. You could carve your own shape out of one of those large rubbers if you're that way inclined, or if you've got some spare rubber from when you've cut out stamps from some suppliers that come as a single sheet, and just create your own. You could literally create those kind of shapes from almost anything. Fun foam, you name it, buy it from the shop for very, very little, and then you can just cut out and do your own little thing. Great for doing art journal pages when you haven't really got a lot of time. So I'm just going to sign that and then date it. What date is it today? Is it the 2nd or the 3rd of October? I can never remember. 2nd of October. So 2nd of the 10th, 18. And that's it for me for today. I know it was only quick, it's not very complicated, but who says art journal pages need to be complicated with millions and millions of layers all the time? Sometimes you just want to do something which is kind of simple, but kind of expressive too. And I was inspired by that wallpaper sample, so I've tried to recreate it. And that's what art is all about. It's being inspired to create something of your own. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with all your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I will see you very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.